I see the speech yesterday as the president's strongest commitment to engaging in this policy process. We're 8 months, 8 months into the administration. Things could have started sooner. We were sidetracked with some other policy agendas, but I'm hopeful that this is the beginning, as the president said, the kickoff, I think, of a concerted effort to move from the tax code that we have, which I think doesn't work very well, to the kind of tax code that Republicans have been talking about for well more than a year now, one with a broader base and lower rates.
He stuck with that 15% rate. I guess he said ideally he'd like to see that 15% rate, but it was a little light on some of the other details, and maybe that's where the biggest issues are going to be. How do you see this playing out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there were very, very few details yesterday, and as you noted, even the 15% rate was kind of softened a bit when he said ideally it will go to 15%. That was his campaign policy platform on the corporate rate. I think that the corporate rate, first of all, absolutely needs to come way down, and I think that lawmakers in Congress agree with that and will pursue that. I don't think we'll get down to 15. It just has to do with budget math. 15 would be great, but I think we're more likely to be in the 20s at the end of the process.
Got a lot of work to do PR-wise, Alex. Number one, Democrats, progressives, liberals will always say that the actual tax rate is way below 35 and that no companies pay that, and they'll say it's like 10 or 12, which is lower than other countries. Number one, do other countries where you see that they might have a 15 rate or a 20, do they also have de facto rates that are actually lower with other deductions? So apples to apples, we're still higher, or is there merit to that argument that no corporations pay 35 anyway?
Yeah, this is the classic argument about whether we're talking about what the average rate is or whether we're talking about what the marginal rate is. What we need to do is we need to bring that headline rate down. That's not the average rate. That's absolutely true when liberals say that corporations tend not to pay 35% oftentimes. But what matters is when they think about growing their business, when they think about making a new factory in the United States or in China or in Ireland, how much more tax are they going to pay on their additional profits? And there the rates can be 35%. For a U.S. investment.
And part of the reason the blended rate goes down is because they go abroad, and then that's why they're down at 20%.
Absolutely, they're mixing in the zeros or the ones or the twos
from foreign source. All the pass-through people, if you cut, their corporations, let's say, but you're going to say the liberals are going to say you're giving a tax cut to the rich, and they're not going to care about what the real what the real story is. It's going to be, dissembling and conflating and everything else. And that's going to be the next thing that you hear about. It's just you're hiding a tax cut for the rich. So,
sure. So
and most people, if you poll the public, they say corporations don't pay enough. They should pay more. So you got to do some work there, Alex. You got to get out more.
Absolutely. That's the PR issue that you raised. And I think that we need to see the president on a regular basis talking about tax reform and in more detail than he did yesterday. And we need to see the rest of his team. I know you'll have the secretary on later this morning. We're going to need to see at some point more specifics, when I say specifics, that's part of the leadership process from the administration on tax reform, not just on which taxes are going down, but what the offsets are going to be, how we're going to close the loopholes, which loopholes we're going to close, and where the revenue is going to come to offset this package at the end of the day. There's absolutely more work to do.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.